Hello, this is Boris Johnson. And this is Boris Johnson when he got caught throwing parties during lockdown. Just kidding, this is in fact the Cape Dune mole rat. These fascinating creatures live along the southwestern coast of South Africa. These guys are strictly solitary and they fiercely defend their own territories. They're quite a large mole rat species. They get to about 35 centimeters long and they weigh about 1.3 kilograms as adults. So they're quite large compared to their counterparts up north. By using drones, we can actually map their activities over periods of time. The yellow dots here represent activity during a 1 week period during 2024. And the green dots represent activity during a week during 2025. Because we know that Cape Dune mole rats are solitary and they have their own tunnel systems, and that they have a central nesting core which they burrow outward from for foraging on rhizomes, bulbs, and things like that, and they don't interact with each other, we can start to look at the activity data and start to draw some insights from the information. And perhaps look at where individual territories might lie, and also being able to have a look at changes that are occurring in their environment that it might be affecting their activity. Things like disturbance, lack of food, drought, territorial mixing, or shifts in territories, etc. Burrowing and feeding activity usually occur within 10 to 25 meters of the core of the burrow. With this information, we can use spatial analysis to give us insight into the proximity or density of activity that's occurring within a certain area. And then from that, we can start to deduce some information. So the tighter the rings are here, the more activity there is, and the further out it spaces, the less it becomes. But we can see that the spatial analysis of using 10-meter radius around each point gives us a good idea of the activity of a potential individual mole rat. Once again, this is 2024's data over a 1 week period, and this is 2025's data over a 1 week period. And if we overlay the two, we can see some interesting shifts. Overall, the activity tends to be in similar areas, and therefore perhaps that means this area belongs to one individual, this area belongs to one individual, and so on and so forth. We can then also consolidate this data with the vegetation health around each of these sites and various other changes in the environment. Just to note, at the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can also see additional activity taking place towards the northeast. This is most likely either the introduction of a new individual to the area, or perhaps an individual moving out. More ground data would be needed to validate this theory. We would have to look at more data over time to be able to make proper conclusions around this, but this demonstrates the use of drones and GIS as passive data collection tools, which will hopefully allow us to understand the world around us a little bit better.